We've been lied to. Since childhood, you've been told to stay positive, look on the bright side, manifest good vibes. And maybe like most people, you tried. You practiced affirmations. You kept a gratitude journal. You trained yourself to flip every negative into a positive fast. But still, the anxiety lingered. The fears didn't disappear. And sometimes, if you're honest, it all just felt like pretending. What if the problem isn't that you think too negatively, but that you've never learned how to think negatively well? Let's pull the thread on that, because hidden inside what we've been taught to avoid is one of the most radical mental tools for clarity, courage, and strength. Modern culture is hooked on positivity. Scroll social media and you're flooded with mantras, high vibes only. Good things are coming. Think it, believe it, receive it. It feels good until it doesn't, because real life doesn't always comply. Bad things do happen. Goals do fail. People do hurt you. And when you're told to just think positive in the face of chaos, what you're really being told is this: don't feel what you're feeling. Don't prepare for what might go wrong. Don't question, just smile. And that isn't strength, that's suppression. And ironically, it makes your mind weaker, not stronger. Let's break a myth right here. Negative thinking is not pessimism. It's not about being cynical or miserable or expecting failure. Negative thinking, when used properly, is about preparation. It's what psychologists call defensive pessimism. It's the practice of mentally rehearsing what could go wrong so you're better equipped to handle it. The Stoics had a word for this: premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. They would imagine losing everything, status, fortune, loved ones, not to suffer, but to free themselves from fear. Negative thinking, done with awareness, doesn't weaken you. It inoculates you. It prepares you. It sharpens your edge. When you're always trying to stay positive, here's what actually happens. You ignore red flags. You delay hard conversations. You make reckless choices, assuming it will work itself out. You blame yourself for feeling afraid, as if fear makes you weak. But fear is not the problem. The avoidance of fear is. Negative thinking gives fear a seat at the table, not the head of it. It says, let's hear from the worst-case scenario. What can it teach us? And suddenly, fear becomes a guide, not a tyrant. Think of your mind like a gym. Positive thinking is the stretching, the warmth, the optimism. But negative thinking, that's the heavy lifting. It's the resistance that builds strength. Let's say you're starting a business. Positive thinking says, we're going to succeed. Negative thinking asks, what if we don't? That one question, if you really sit with it, can reveal blind spots, financial risks, weak assumptions, or team issues you never saw. And by thinking negatively today, you're less likely to fail blindly tomorrow. It's not fear-mongering, it's fear-mapping. Here's something most people don't want to admit. Hope can be a trap. It can keep you waiting for something better instead of creating something more stable. It can make you tolerate toxic situations because you believe maybe it'll change. It can stop you from taking action because you're still clinging to a fantasy. But doubt? Doubt is honest. It makes you question, and questioning leads to clarity. If you're in a bad relationship, hope tells you to stay. Negative thinking, realistic, grounded thinking says, what if they never change? What if this is the pattern? And that voice might be the one that finally sets you free. Let's go deeper. The Stoics used a daily mental exercise. Imagine that everything you love could be taken from you, not to depress themselves, but to awaken gratitude, to focus their attention, to loosen their grip on what they can't control. This is negative visualization, and it rewires your nervous system. Suddenly, your time with loved ones feels more precious. Your failures don't feel final, your ego gets quieter, and your sense of control more stable, because you've already visited the edge in your mind. Okay, so how do we use negative thinking as a tool, not a trap? Here's a simple framework. Firstly, imagine the worst, not to wallow, but to prepare. Say it out loud. If everything went wrong, what would that look like? Secondly, find the lesson. Ask, what is this fear trying to protect me from? Fear is often a messenger, not a monster. Then thirdly, make a plan. Now that you've seen the worst, create a path through it. What would you do if it happened? Let go. Ironically, once you've stared the storm in the face, you can return to the present with more calm, not less. Because now you're not just hoping for the best, you're ready for the worst. Let's bring this full circle. The most grounded, unshakable people you'll ever meet, they're not always smiling. They're not living on positive vibes. They've simply made peace with the reality that bad things happen, and they've prepared for it. They don't just believe everything will be fine. They know they'll be fine, even if everything isn't. That's what negative thinking gives you. Real confidence. Not the kind built on affirmations, but on resilience. And that kind of confidence? It's quiet, unflashy, unshakable. Here's what no one tells you. Sometimes the most powerful, courageous act is to go there, mentally. To ask the hard questions. To visualize the worst. To sit with what scares you and refuse to run from it. Because when you do, you stop being ruled by fear. You stop being fooled by positivity, and you start living from a place that's real, centered, and resilient. This isn't a rejection of hope. It's hope with armor. So go ahead, think negatively. Just don't live there. Visit the darkness so you can walk through life lighter, stronger, and awake.